everybody. I don't know if you caught the. I thought it went live there. It wasn't intentional. I just really, really enjoyed that swig of lemon balm tea. Hello, everybody. Apologies for the irregular starting time. It is what it is today. I think that's the crack. So today, last week I was playing about it, like AI. This week, AI artwork. It's like a weird trip. The weirdest, in fact, but we'll have a look at that. Some climate change update as well. Hey, that'll be positive. And stuff on Tory immigration that somebody's pulled up, and it's interesting. I don't know if it's like a smoking gun in terms of the migration crisis, but we'll see. We'll have a look at it together. There's a few other bits and all that as well. Time on a tradition. Let us know where you're on the comments. Also, let us know where you're in the world. That'll be good. Shouts to the New Zealand crew as well. We've never charted in New Zealand, but we went in at something like number 67 or something like that. So big up the Kiwi crew. And it was really nice when I posted about that a couple of people popped up on the social media and went, yeah, we're one of them. So nice. I believe your name was Jan. So if you're listening, hello, Jan. Nice that you're listening in from all the way over there. It's always a country I've wanted to visit. And as I said to you and Sean, who's in Australia, keep growing it, come out and tour. I think I'm ready for that. So, but we'll focus on this for now. But it'd be really nice. I've never been to Australia or New Zealand. It's always something that I plan. I'd definitely go there before I die, I think is the one. And it would be even better to meet all yous and do a tour, podcast and whatever, and interview cool people where you live. That would be nice. 2 seconds, I'll take a drink. Right. Let's see who's a boot. Leon and Zoe been having a big crack. Robert Grady's in with the E's. Joanne E. How late am I? Not late at all. Myself though, about an hour. Sorry about that. Yes. Who else is a boot? Slaz is a boot. A nip and a punch and all that. I will be doing a bit on May Day, Beltane and all that. Sorry to not mention that. Jez in the house. Nice to see you. E. Stephen Jackson, right back at you from Norwich. JC, no, not that one. Morning, everybody. That's a reference to a YouTube channel called Jumping Places. The lad, every time, morning, everyone. When he starts, he's like a Manc, but Brazilian. He's got a mad old accent, but watch it every time. It's just like, actually, we'll talk about Jumping Places. Jumping Places for me is it's like a cool dream where they go to all these mad beach places. It's one of these travel channels, you know. It's like a married couple. But they don't like project much of their own personality. They're kind of like a blank canvas, which I quite like. It's quite ASMR, and he's just like more. When they first started, right, they were just really crap at like local facts and stuff. And but now they're much better. The channel's grown. They're putting a bit more into it, but kind of loses a lot actually, because whenever I walk past any random plant anywhere, I go, look, weed, because it's probably one of those jokes between me and my partner. Still funny to this day though. Go and watch Jumping Places, big them up, they're nice people, just a bit bland, but I like that. It's not politics, is it? And that's why I watch it. Just a little one for the weekend, bit of a plug. Saw this on Radical Graffiti, Facebook page. No God, no King, only you. This is from Thailand. Probably never tour in Thailand now because we could get all manner of stuff even for showing this, I think. But we haven't charted there, so who cares? But relevant to the shitbury that's happening at the weekend, we will be covering that, the return of Alice Wolf. Come watch along with her. We've got plenty of people hopping up on the guests. I'll be inviting a few more people today. It'll probably last 3 hours or something, I think. Something like that. Should be a laugh and hopefully an antidote to the horrendous pageantry. And of course, we'll all be swearing allegiance to the king on the day, which will be a belter. 2 seconds, I need more of this tea. Anyway, no God, no king, only you. How lovely. How's your bank holiday weekend been? Let us know. Have you got up to much? Has there much been going on? Been any raves, that kind of thing? Stopped in? Anywhere in between? Let one know. Today, obviously, it's bank holiday. We weren't going to do one and that, but it's not just about like sharing the info. I like the hangout as well. It's good. I like it as much as you. You know, here we are again, and just think it's something cool to do, isn't it? Joanne's saying a weekend. It's been slow, loads of TV. Jez, we will indeed be swearing at the king. What time is kick off on Saturday? I actually don't know. I haven't checked yet. I think when I set the event page thing up a couple of months ago, I don't know. I think it was something like, so it was kind of early. It was like 10 a.m., maybe it's 11 a.m. Like the processions will start and all that. But it'll be funny because we'll have it up in one window and we'll just be in the other, and then guests will be popping up. I don't know. I've never tried anything like this before, so it'll be good, I think. But will it be excellent? The jury's out. But I think even Wolf being on that will make it good. Never mind me good self. JC saying, I was up a local mountain in the fog this morning. Top one. Love a bit of that, mate. Like, because that's the thing. You can go like from your door, you get into a pea super like that, and it can just be like you might as well be in the middle of the Amazon on some of them. But as long as you've got the nav skills, it's good news, isn't it? Joanne saying, don't want to miss the great occasion. Perish the thought. Perish we would miss such a momentous one. And one of the reasons we can actually cover it live is I believe they've given like a broadcast exemption because it's a historical event. So we'll be able to stream it and not get done on copyright. So that's a good one. An opportunity too good to miss. So anyway, let's have a look at what we've got. So we'll start with some of this AI artwork, right? I give it some prompts just based on the show last week, and I thought, oh, that was kind of cool, you know. It was I mean, if you're on the audio, it's just like picture of a cow with UFOs and kind of Northern Lights effect in the back. I thought it was all right, but then it got a bit more twisted. I asked it to do Milk the Cow podcast has a child with the Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles with the Tyne Bridge in the background in the style of Picasso. So that's what we're seeing on the screen right now. What do you think of that? What do you think of that? And then I asked it to do like sort of less Picasso, more Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles. They're freaky as, man. That one on the right there is that thing at the front comes after you. It's like that wild boar that was up that mountain that time. Speaking of mountains, JC's replied from his expedition this morning. I shit my pants when I thought I was lost, just sheep appearing out of nowhere. I swear to God, there was one time in the lakes, right? This before I was a mountain leader or anything like that. There was a load of we went up there and we got absolutely wrecked, right? And we went for a night walk. And we were heading, we were lost, absolutely off it, right? This is just, honestly, I don't even know how anybody could be the parent of a teenage boy. And we walked towards the what we thought was a stream. We were like, oh, we'll get to that stream. We can follow it back to the campsite. Got towards the edge. Somebody pipes up, move back. It was like a drop down to the stream. We could have just walked off the edge like lemons, man. Mad. You don't want that. Jez is saying that's certainly an image. It is, mate, and it's absolutely like it's like some weird fever dream. These aren't even the worst ones. Some of them are just like, nah, I don't even want to look at that. How mad is that though? Like the words at the back there are meant to be Milk the Cow podcast. It's not really like nailed the old text-based stuff yet, but like this is the first one I tried. I've got a whole list of stuff for ChatGPT now to try. But this is some weird stuff. So expect some weird stuff to start popping up on the thumbnails for these shows. Probably this actually. Look at the state of that, man. This is another thing I saw on Radical Graffiti. And I think it captures the energy of many people at the minute. I mean, I'm sure you do too. There's a lot of depression out there, but it's like being thinly concealed. And I think it could be put down to jobs are shit, growth is shit. All I want is revenge. Because growth in the economy doesn't necessarily translate to jobs. So it's like you're being gaslighted. It's like there's growth, but then people are still having a worse time. It's like those two opposites tend to really make people at the bottom end of society feel a bit more dislocated, and I think that's possibly the point. And I think those are if we're going to change things, obviously we need to change the job situation. But obviously we're talking about AI as well. Universal basic income has to happen. We say this all the time, and just every day there's just more and more. I mean, that AI artwork, when they get it boxed off, just God bless you if you're an artist, a writer. There's so many other jobs too. Just go back there. AF Coleman saying, have you tried Snapchat AI? I've never been on Snapchat, and also nice to see you here, mate. appreciate probably off work, but nice to see you. It's 9:30 a.m. generally every weekday morning. So shouts to anybody who's new here too. I haven't tried Snapchat either. I'm 46. Like when it came out, it was a bit like, nah, it's for young people this. So never been on. Kind of missed the boat with that one, I think. Memes flying around. Obviously, we covered this last week about the seagull. People are saying seagull shagger, but that's not actually factually accurate. I think you had one off the wrist over the back of a seagull. It's just weird. It's a weird time. It's just just what you're doing, mate. Jez is saying, I'm glad I'm a leather worker. I'm safe from AI. I think you should be, because it's been like you. I think what'll happen is, right, like things like what you do will be more prized because it's like handmade, but that means more. It's not like computer made, and I think there'll be a real market for that going forward. Also, like tags on people's work, like non-AI writing, non-AI art, it might actually put more value on that. I'm interested to see how that develops going forward. But what I think it'll definitely happen in wider society. So many jobs will be redundant, and obviously a lot of jobs now are under corporate structure, and the corporate structure is to make money. It's not to do the whole jobs and paying conditions. That's what the union's job is. That's why unions exist, because if corporations just did that, I mean, some might, but they're very rare, like hen's teeth. So I mean, you're going to go back and forth between the political class and the corporate class, because the corporate class are generally being paid off by the corporate class. So we've got a problem. Nobody's going to pull the trigger on doing the right thing, which is looking after the people. So every day that goes by, we're in more of a problem, sadly. And new people are a boot. Michael's in. Nice to see you. Morning, Mr. C and everyone. Was is up. Nice to see you, Was. Nice to see you back in the hoose. Jez, gull wanker, indeed. Gull wanker. That's, again, the best term coming straight from the mouths of not just Tynesides, but the GB's best leather workers. This popped up on me when I was deleting pictures and things again, and it's a cartoon from during the sort of lockdown era, and it's for audio people, a classic cartoon fascist and a classic cartoon hippie with a banner, "We refuse to wear a mask." Our ideals and way of life may be quite different, but our hatred of one piece of fabric has united us. And the reason I pulled that up is it's like, if you remember, we spoke about Russell Brand and the Cosmic Right last week and the whole Tucker Carlson thing. It's a lot of it is born from that. We were talking about like, oh, well, what's the root of this? And a lot of people were saying, well, during lockdowns, there was a hell of a lot of this carry on going on. And we also spoke about people we know, like having conversations with the EDL. And I'm sure that's played out across the country, or people who were involved in the EDL. And the reason I'm bringing this up is there was quite an interesting reaction from people. There was strangely, I mean, this isn't by no means scientific in terms of statistics, but we've got a heavy amount of shit from what I can only call a cosmic estate agent on YouTube. But there was a person who runs a yoga studio got in touch, bigging up the show and saying, I can't believe the kind of crossover in their sort of scene between the right, sort of far right, and cosmic crystal bothering types. It's really mad. Like, I'm still not over it, as you can tell. I still want to explore this and take this forward, because it is mad. Like, certain people, and I'm sure people that who are just spouting some mad right-wing stuff and cracking on as if they're just like all about this universal energy. How do the people not see what the hypocrisy is there? But here we are once again. Susie's in the house. Nice to see you, pal. Make myself late for work to tune in, knowing the NHS is on its knees with wankers like me. True story. Yeah, a work shy fop, and that's a terrible thing. But, just telling me while listening to the live stream on the way in, and I've worked it out with your gaffer. There's a pass out, it's like, it's important messages for our nation. And the Cow Daily exemption is a very real thing in the NHS. So this just really spoke to us. Mind, don't say shit. Just let it go. It's not worth it. Mouth, who the fuck you think you are? Seriously, the amount of trouble I'm getting into at the minute is stupid. But I just can't help it. And it's not because I'm like some kind of empty vessel. It's like, oh, it's just happened. That happened. And I said it. No, I take full responsibility and own every word, every single one of them. And I'm not bothered that you dislike us or even move towards hating us. Because at the end of the day, what the Milk the Cow has always been is just disturb the comfortable and provide comfort to the disturbed. So fuck you, basically. Like, we're not pulling back. We're going to criticize people with dislike and people will like. This is not a transactional thing that like we're on the same side and you're like. And also, if you're gonna criticize, at least tag word, at least do that. Fuck your sub posting, man. Like, that's some bullshit. Criticize and debate. Certain people, you're just not even worth a debate. But that's one or two. Anybody, open debate, come. Because what you're doing is you're playing the man, not the evidence. And I see you. You're being seen. So I'll always be this. It's not that I can't help it. I can. I have self-control. But sometimes shit just needs to be said. And sometimes shit gets said because it does shake things up. And if we don't shake things up now in 2023 with everything going on, then you're not worth a shit, to be honest with you. Get shaking things up. We have to shake things up because, like, more and more, the privilege that we might have to feel like sort of moderately safe is being eroded away by inaction. So, the reason we keep turning up here as much as we possibly can every day we possibly can is because constancy is needed. I need constancy and I need somewhere that is a sanctuary for me. And I'm blessed that we have this together. It's a together thing, as I've said. And this isn't your fucking like guys YouTube thing. I fucking mean this. Everything I say, I mean. The top and bottom of it is we grow a lot quicker if we towed the line. And it's not going to happen. We'll toe a line if it's the right line to toe. You know, like we did when Corbyn was elected leader of the Labour Party. We got behind that heart and soul. But it's an absolute sack of shit, all of it now, isn't it? So, like, let's not play no games or pretend. Anyway, here we are. Michael is saying, I want a revolution. Non-violent and peaceful, of course, for the purposes of the YouTube guidelines, of course. Shazbot's on. Mon Count Corp's not been here a while. Lost my dad last week. Oh, mate. Hope everyone's doing well. Really sorry to hear that, mate. Fucking hell. I mean, at this point, obviously no words. It's a week after as well, and there's nothing that I could generally say that would provide solace. But all I could say to you, mate, is just know that you're seen. And this is a space, even if we're not talking about it, where you can feel like seen and respected. And if you do pop up here, sound. If you don't, let me know how you're getting on it, and just know that inbox, as ever, always open eye. So much love to you and your family in it. I'd really wish I had more that I could say, but I just understand how it is right now. There's nothing you can say right now. But you know, you're amongst friends. I think that's the best thing I can say. All right, man. Big up Jez, big up everybody, and just make sure you send that love out as well. Got it for you, man. Right, bit of climate change news. This one from Edwin Hayward, and what he's saying is the Tories manufactured the asylum seeker problem. So let's see what he's saying. Edwin's the author of Slaying Brexit Unicorns. Apparently, have not heard of that book, but all the best. So what he's saying is the Tories manufactured the asylum seeker problem. It's right there in the official data. All you have to do is look. See how the percentage of applications completed within 6 months drops and drops and drops. Biggest plunges from 55% to 25% in Q3 2018 under Sajid Javid. On the screen, we have all of the gear here. So if you want to actually interrogate yourself, you can just pause the video and find it, or you can go to Edwin Hayward on Twitter. Edwin goes on. The percentage fell to another new low during the pandemic and has stuck at 10%. This calculated sabotage creates a huge, highly visible backlog of desperate people not entitled to work, remember, waiting for a decision. And that gives the Tories a scapegoat to point at. He's linked his data source, which is gov.uk here. And he's also linked below. Here's that list of asylum application processing times again, and the list of Home Secretaries with their times in office. That way you can start to get a feel for who would have been responsible for which portion of the immense backlog the Tories deliberately engineered. So we'll just pull up that on the screen. It's running a bit slow. Here we go. So starting at 2016, Theresa May, the one that centrists want to try and sanitize Keir Starmer. Oh, I was really lots of respect for her. Then Amber Rudd, who had to resign over Windrush, I believe, taken over by Sajid Javid, who, if this is all correct, creating another Windrush level scandal. Priti Patel, the less said the better. Suella Braverman, who 6th of September to 19th October 2022, she had to resign over something. Grant Shapps comes in for a few days. Then Braverman's back in. Mad times. People forget this. I forget this. Crazy like a fox. It's absolutely and utterly mental that, like, and the figures appear that they're right there. And as we'll speak about this, like, semi-regular, the migration crisis, what do you want to call it? I mean, for me, it's human beings who are just trying to, like, flee a bad situation, do whatever that bad situation is. And I don't care if it's war or climate change or whatever. We'll cover why some of these some of the reasons are in a minute when we cover the climate change thing. All intertwined and all interlinked. Yet we've got people twisting on, like, stop the boat. How about interrogating? And quite frankly, it's laughable that quite a lot of these people are all do your own research. We do this every day. People send me things as well. Like, this isn't just me. People are supporting and doing that. And, like, being taught to Leon last week about doing a piece, and other people too. This is proper, like, citizen journalism. At the end of the day, we're a collective. Like, when this grows, we want more people to be on the channel. We want to create jobs. We want to take it there. So at the top and bottom of it is, to the people who are giving it, like, stop the boats and anti-asylum seekers, how about looking to see and doing your own research just to see how mugged you are being and how you're being, how can we put it? Your head's in a vice around the back of GB News, and it's turning into a racist. And because people are so atomized, certainly post lockdowns, there's not a lot of intermingling like it was, because quite frankly, a lot of people don't trust certain people anymore, because this disconnection and dislocation can breed trust, or mistrust, sorry. But it's also the fact that there's quite a few people who are not to be trusted. I mean, talk about getting pressed for a bit. I mean, fair one, it was a hard time for all of us, but there's a load of us come out the other end, not like caping it up for the fash. So it's about time some people wobbled up their heads. And that starts by getting a grip of the people wrapped around you and just going, nah, and challenging that, but do it with evidence, right? And interrogate it. Look again at this list of people who Edward himself says are responsible. But it would seem to me, sorry, Edwin, it would seem to me that that list of absolute rat bastards there are responsible for this whole stop the boats thing. So always look who benefits. The Tories have absolutely fucked it. So what they need now is a distraction. We've got one massively. When we should be talking about cost of living, it's stop the boat. The amplifiers from the far right, like GB News, doing it to radicalize people's nanas. That then leads to more racism, because it's never the white refugees that they're pointing these cameras at and criticizing because of the political expediency of geopolitical concerns and the war. It's just shit. And also, you look at the war in Sudan now, which is like an unequal, some would say, to the war between Russia and the Ukraine. Crickets. Where is the mass mobilization to, like, help those people? Same as Yemen, same as everywhere else. And we all know why. We know why. And this is why we have to fight that and change that message and change that narrative and be so absolutely on it with evidence. And if we get it wrong, say sorry and apologize immediately as soon as we understand those things. If we do that, keep truth as our guide, everybody, we should be fine. I would say, or we'll get black bagged by the man. I don't know. It's maybe he's one of those two. We'll see though. Right, climate change. Hold on a minute. I saw the term conspirituality in the comments. Who's using that? I like that word. JC, no, not that one. Google, the dark side of wellness, the overlap between spiritual thinking and far-right conspiracies. A reference to the term conspirituality by Charlotte Ward and David Vaz. Google them too. Are they worth asking to get on as guests? Give us a shout if that's the case. Nice one, Michael. Love for Shaz. Defo. Jez is saying the Tories have no interest in processing asylum claims. It's too useful to weaponize it. The same as they don't want to help the homeless, the unemployed, etc. It's all too useful, really. Exactly. It's exactly what it is. And I think we noticed with Labour's response, which is like canny fash, but they're also trying to be like better managers of the crisis, guys. And that's their only answer that they've got, which is better than now. But like, it's not going to solve it straight away, is it? I mean, they're obviously just saying anything they can that they think will get them elected, of course. But what are you going to do? Right. What else do we got? Leon is saying it also helps with your own account. You know, people will check you if you're factually wrong, which is a comfort. Definitely. And I love that, man. But the thing is, it's the way that we do it. It's all done with like love and wanting to get to the truth quicker. Like, I don't feel when like you guys in there go, oh, maybe that's not quite right, or have you seen this? And I'll go, nice one, because there's a trust there that I understand that you're wanting the best interests of not just me, but of the work. So for me, it's like, and I was saying this to my partner before we started doing this regularly. I miss that sense of community because obviously that's one of the things that's still kind of my baggage from lockdown and stuff. Like not like having that thing to bounce off. So if it wasn't for the immediacy of this, of like having these two-way conversations with you, this whole thing would look very much different. And I don't think it would be where it's actually at. Like it's a real blessing for me to be part of the community that's around this live stream. I think it's like possibly one of the most non-toxic spaces online, which is testament to you. Thank you very much. Appreciate it. Also, like the fact that you're supportive of each other going through your medical issues or bereavements and things like that. And you know, if you want more of that type of stuff, we're no stranger to doing like mental health bereavement content. Happy to do it. Well, not happy to do it. You're never happy, but like happy to produce that if it provides some solace for somebody as well. So you tell me what type of things you want this to be. I've got my ideas and things that I think it should be too to help it grow, but we want it to be covering what you want as the people who are part of this community. So defo all about that life. Leon saying, love the community here for sure, man. Gads in. Ari, Mr. Cow, hello, Gads and everybody. Nodding hard in agreement, safe space, nice one. So he's saying, get everyone to pledge their allegiance, shag some flags. They forgot everything else going on in it, though it is, man. And I understand that, man. It's always worked throughout history, hasn't it? Like, you know, bad people will always use the whole sort of appeals to like patriotism or collectivism, and people during times like that, you know, want to be part of something because it feels safer. That's innate humanity, and we shouldn't judge people for that. Like, you know what I mean? It's only when it spills over into like keeping other people on the outs from that. I'm not bothered really what like flag people wrap themselves in. It's a piece of cloth, but it's also a symbol, and we should acknowledge the symbolism of it for different people, depending on which side of the barrel of the gun they were on, innit? So, Shazbot's saying, thank you, everyone. My dad was once against the migrants, and I pointed out they are human beings just like us. It was that simple. You only seen things from the perspective of what was on TV. And do you know what it is, Shazbot? Your dad is a wonderful man, and it's testament to somebody's good heart, because the top and bottom of it is we have to allow people to poison our hearts. It's like, you know, I've said this before about like times I've been wronged in the past, and I asked my partner never to allow us to give in to the hate, because it was so bad at one time. I really felt like I was going to do some dead man shoe shit, you know what I mean? Not really, but maybe. But it's just one of them where, you know, if you've got good people wrapped around you, keeping you accountable and just keeping things honest, like you've done with your dad there, but you spoke in the language of his heart, and sometimes that's now to do with the head. And as long as we look after our hearts, and because this is the thing, right? And this might sound mad to people. Like, I know people who have a good heart, but they can be quite hateful towards people different from them, different colors of skin. But you can reach those people. The people I mean, I saw the other day about trying to be nice to online to people like that. Why? I've done this for many, many years, and it doesn't work. Like, it doesn't. It needs that immediacy, like face to face. But also as well, I feel that the marches and things like that, they don't work either. I mean, it works in terms of solidarity and community for people who are probably the converted, and I think there's definitely a place for that. But marches have never, in my experience, people, please, as we say, like please challenge that if you feel I'm wrong. They've never worked in terms of like bringing too many more new people in, unless it's some kind of like big thing like the Iraq War. It was over 1 million people, but obviously we all saw what Blair and Campbell and the others did there. So, I think that turned quite a lot of people off, because if you can't like change things with 1 million, what can you do? So the fact, Shazbot, that you have done that and you've reached somebody's heart, your father as well, is testament to you, but also testament how great a good-hearted man your dad is and was. So I think you can be really, really proud of that, proud of yourself, but also proud of that conversation, and certainly proud of your dad. Look, I understand how deeply entrenched these things can be with people. And I'm proud of you, mate, because that's how we change things, like one person's heart at a time, in it. But we should also understand, just outside of talking about your dad and that kind of thing, that, like, quite honestly, some people are never to be shifted and changed, and they don't have a good heart. So do a heart check first before we start talking to people, and we'll take it from there, innit? Stephen's in, nice. Melton in the QE, nice to see you pop up as well, brother. I hope your weekend wasn't too bad in the hospital. But things I've learned too bloody hot. Discovered a little lad called Ren last night, becoming evangelical about him. Check him out. Me pal Giggsy, who might be tuning in now. Hello, guy, if you are. He sent us him and his backstory as well, like how he's overcome an addiction and that kind of thing, is absolutely beautiful. Massive, massive fan of it. I just think he's really talented as well, isn't he? I mean, I haven't checked out like a load of his stuff, right? But I have checked out one or two things that Giggsy sent us, and I rate him, man. He's good. Really good, in fact. So just bear with us. I'm just pulling up things on the screen for again. I'll just take that out for now, and we'll go back to the comments. Definitely right back at you, mate. Much love. Shazbot 73. Leon saying, my first protest at 11 years old was the invasion of Iraq. Hope I never change. And carbon data there, because that was Afghanistan and all that. I was in my sort of late teens, and it was like I was doing little bits before that, but that was what really like radicalized me. Just saying how like you could just tell it was just an oil war or whatever. I nearly had a fight with my pals at the time. Turned like weird though, because he went Rajada's weird though, like 20 years later, and he went to like bloody Marxism 2014 or something, or whatever it was. Couldn't believe it, but hated it because it is boring. JC saying the tune High Ren is about that. That was the one he sent us. It is class, that, like. Joanne saying marches and petitions, how useful are they? Petitions possibly as a guide to the strength of how people feel, but like, I mean, we're in this like Trumpian world where they just get mugged off. Labour are trying to do it now, like Salacious Crumb to the Tories jabber, and they're just like, for me, a waste of time. Marches, as I say, I think the point of the maze is like a sense of community, and quite a lot of it, like, is about going to the pub afterwards. Like that, that's what a lot of people are all about. A lot of the stuff gets done in the pub. Same with the frigging trade union movement. It's like, holla, fucking right, is it? Leon saying, I also think it's the event that cemented me too. True. Just saying how the world was just full of like lies, and essentially that it's gonna switch a person on, I think. Michael saying, being on stacks of marches, protest the Pope's visit was the biggest. I marched alongside Gandalf. Gandalf the Glasgolf the Red, or Gandalf the actual guy from the Lord of the Rings? Which one? Jez is saying history tends to show that it all works if it's all getting done. Protest marches, direct action. I'm not saying violence and destruction are also the way, but history clearly does. I mean, there's academic studies on that, but like also for the purpose of the guideline of social media, I'll not take that any further. But if you want to have a look at the academic studies into riot, Hang on, Michael's saying the actual guy, what, the fictional character Gandalf, like, or is it Christopher Lee who played Gandalf? Did you march with Christopher Lee? That I need more. Like, that's an interesting story and a half. That, like, Christopher Lee was anti the Pope, right? We need more. I want to know why he was anti the Pope. Was he a Protestant or was he pro-abortion or somewhere in between? Like, what is this? I've got questions. I have questions. Right, but I'll take those. Hold on. Ian McLean. Is he like from some original? Is it from the original Lord of the Rings film? Something of that nature. I need more. I don't know. I don't have the cultural frame of reference. Is it like kind of how Basil Rathbone used to play Sherlock Holmes, but then later on it was it, who was it who played him later on? Can't remember. I've got an image of Poirot and like that sushi guy in my head, and that's the wrong guy. Lee was Saruman. It's good that we do have Jez in the comments here. Who did you actually do leather work for Lord of the Rings? If you didn't, you've done it for films like it, so you would know. You are the authority on these matters. Right. Right, I see. Ian McKellen. Right, got you. I'm on it now. I'm here. I've done it. So, Stephen's saying, Greenham Common in the early to mid-80s, eye-opener. Never seen such a collection of damaged humans ever. I was just a kid, but even I could see nothing healthy was happening there. Class live and direct from the Long Water at the QE. Oh, nice one. Right. That's the last of me tea. Michael's saying, yes, he starred as Gandalf in the movie Lord of the Rings. He's a gay bloke, so probably protest the bigotry of the Pope. Got you. Understood. Which Pope was it? Was it the Polish goalkeeper? Or was it the German Nazi? Right. A little bit on climate change, shall we? And then we'll get ourselves away back to our bank holiday and that. Hold on a minute, I'll just pull this up. There's Matthew Todd at Mr. Matthew Todd on Twitter. He's one of the better climate change following accounts. He's an award-winning writer, former Attitude Mag editor, Straight Jacket, an essential read for every gay person on the planet, says Elton John. There you go. Covering climate change just now, though. I'm having a vape. 2 seconds. I see Sue Gray is trending in the United Kingdom there. We'll have a look at that after the show, shall we? So anyway, Matthew's saying the statements that scientists are making are so extraordinary that they warrant being front page headline news. The media can't grasp the magnitude of this issue. Their failure is so extreme, I consider most mainstream media now to be contrary to the public good. Right, I'm just going to dip back in and say something because I'll probably clip this, right? My partner and I have been following this, and obviously we've got 3 dogs, so we're taking precautions now regarding the dogs in terms of what the temperatures could be later in the year. We'll get into why that is in a moment through Matthew's work there, but we're obviously buying things like those, like cold mats for the ground, ice packs, everything that we know what to do. I'll be putting some information out like nearer the time about temperature gradients, so when you can take the dogs out and what that would do to them and that kind of thing. But also it's about yourself. Understand that this summer could potentially be very, very, very challenging indeed in terms of significant weather events and then what that does to us as humans. So I just wanted to get that in before we do detail, and then we'll do a little bit more about this at the back end, and really interested in your thoughts too and how you're feeling about what's to come. So Matthew is saying the statements that scientists are making are so extraordinary that they warrant being front page headline news. Can't think why they're not. The media cannot grasp the magnitude of this issue. Their failure is so extreme, I consider most mainstream media now to be contrary to the public good. So let's get prepared together and furnish ourselves with the facts. And we're running very slow. Come on, Twitter. Possibly my computer. Oh, there we are. Right, so this from The Guardian. Record ocean temperatures put Earth in uncharted territory, say scientists. This is from Professor Mark Maslin. If you want to check him out, at Prof. Mark Maslin on Twitter. He says, it seems we have moved to a warmer climate system with frequent extreme climate events and record-breaking temperatures that are the new normal. It is difficult to see how anybody can deny climate change and its devastating effects around the world. I got news for you, Mark. Many are. Next. What's the next one? Is it on a delay? Yes. This is from Dr. Thomas Smith at Dr. TELS. He's got a graph there, and it shows the oceans have clearly been absorbing a lot of excess energy and hiding it from us for a few years now. This looks like payback time, a massive redistribution of that energy, and I don't think we can really forecast what it will mean. We're in uncharted territory. We're seeing that quite a lot, uncharted territory. What this is referring to, obviously, is the ocean has been holding on and doing a cooling effect. We're going into an El Nino year, though, so we'll have that, plus the general effects of climate change, plus this, and we don't know what's going to happen. What else we have? It's from Andy Elliott at Wildfire Tac Ad on Twitter. It's from theconversation.com. Statistically impossible heat extremes are here. We identified the regions most at risk. That's from theconversation.com. Andy says this is an interesting read for anyone involved in climate planning and extreme heat events. Statistically impossible heat extremes are here. And that is just... I mean, look, we experienced some really bad stuff. Like we were in mainland Europe for a lot of the time, visiting family, and it was hellish. This from Professor Bill Maguire at Prof Bill Maguire on Twitter. Off the charts, make no mistake, if we are reaching the limit of the ocean's capacity to absorb heat, then we're in deep, deep trouble, and El Nino hasn't even started yet. Exactly. This is the year that we are in. This is what's happening, and my arse is going 5 pence, 50 pence. You're like, absolutely lifting. Absolutely lifting. I mean, what do you think? Jez is saying, I don't know, it's climate scientists and environmental researchers that tell me climate change is real, but those oil companies and the politicians they pay say it isn't. Quite indeed, Leon. El Nino, yeah, certainly is. Right, we'll have a look. There's a few other little bits. Let's play one of these. See what they're doing. We're on a bit of a lag, but we're back.
And currently 27% of Spanish territory is classified as in drought emergency or drought alert. And this shows the 55 hottest temperatures ever recorded in Spain. You can see not many back in the past. The frequency really increasing over the last few years, including the highest ever 47.6 degrees Celsius in Cordoba in 2021. But as hot as it is on the land in so many places, scientists are just as alarmed about what's happening in the ocean. This shows the surface sea temperature for the world's oceans, excluding the polar regions. You can see last year, 2022, 2016, which is hotter, and we'll talk about why in a bit, compared to the average for 1981 to 2011, which is much, much lower. And let's have a look at 2023. This dark red line, you see the trajectory is much steeper. This is unprecedented. If you look at this area of water close to South America, just to its west, it's already very warm there in the red. Scientists think this could mean the start of another El Nino, potentially another powerful one. The effects of that develop over months and years. So as warm as 2023 is likely to be on land and on sea, 2024 could be even hotter.
Whoa. So, point to say it could have been, should have been, all that, but as you can see, the evidence points towards that direction. And yeah, as Jez points out quite accurately here, that's really not good, and it isn't. And I wanted to bring this up now. I've been talking to some climate people as well, and we'll be doing more climate stuff going in to the spring, summer, for obvious reasons, man. I just think we need to be prepared, and within this community, we can be prepared, and we can also tell other people about this, what is happening. I've seen people talking about like what this can do to dogs and whatever. Prepare for it yourself as if you would be prepared to look after your dog. Also, as well, like people are going to be running aircon after a long winter. Like, where's the money coming from this? Is there going to be cost of living payments? A lot of the some houses are well insulated. Ironically, my parents are a council house because of the European Union. So I'm concerned about them. So I'm going to be looking into getting some kind of aircon thing. You can get them where you put the out the air window, like a dryer. Like my pal Chalk's got one. He says it's class. You just lob it on for an hour in the bedroom and then turn it off, shut the window and all that, and that's sort of like you sleeping for the night. So be prepared. Get your scout hat on, because seriously, you don't want it to be like what we experienced last year. We were lucky to get the dogs through that summer, right? And also as well, just one thing I noticed the other day, I was reading what's happening in Portugal's a good example of this, right? There's like laws where you have to clear like brush within a certain radius, something like 20 meters around your house. Like everybody has to do it for wildfires. But this year there's a problem. People are so skinned because wages in Portugal are low and the cost of living, inflation spiraling out of control. And it was bad before all of this, right? People can't afford the petrol to put in the streamers to do the work. So there's a huge backlog and people are asking for an extension. But because of all these temperatures that we've seen there in like the south, like from the center of Portugal down to the Algarve as well, and some areas up the north as well now, actually, it's really high wildfire risk now because of the drought. So basically what the government is saying is, no, it should have been done. We can't let you do it because in case the sparks from the machine start a wildfire. So they're already in catch 22, and that was last week in April. So wildfires are no joke. What, like, they got through it last year by the skin of their teeth, right? And the problem is the frequency of them is becoming more and more anyway. But the land's already like a tinderbox. It's going to be horrific, man. Horrific. But it will indeed still be snowing in concert. Leon's saying, I've got an aircon unit to save me a lot of issue with my health. This is what I mean. I think we need to start adapting, or hopefully we've already done that, adapting to the realities of the climate and how that impacts and affects us. We're going to be in survival situations like going forward if these things go the way the scientists say they are. So it's best to prepare for survival situations before they're in them. I mean, I know that might sound like an obvious thing to say, but it is. And I'm saying it because it's obvious, because until we think about it, we don't prepare. And then if we don't prepare in enough time, then by the time it comes around, the preparing time's over. So get prepared, like, that's what I'm saying. Prepare yourselves for this summer and we'll just get through it together, because it's going to be harder than a motherfucker for a lot of people. And if you think, oh, I'll just sit in my back garden, drinking the car and sound, do that. But like, will there be any beer? Because if you remember last year, we covered this, and there was talk of, like, because of the cost of living, but also because of like the war with grains and things of that nature, the price of a pint could go up over a tenner. And also I saw on that like news flash there that obviously because of the war in Sudan, there's more and more migrants as well as climate change coming. So there's all these competing crises, and the people, as we've seen, who've been running the country and the people who hope to run the country are manipulating that situation, and that's fucking evil, because ultimately we should be putting our hands out and helping people, because before long, and I shouldn't have to frame it like this, but you know, for certain people you do, there, but for the grace of God go we. And anybody in the UK at any time with a different set of wins could be a refugee themselves. Maybe you'll need that boat to get over the channel. Who knows? Anyway, we'll take a few comments and we'll get away. Michael saying, concert's lovely today, sunny. Nice one. Concert, a fine place. Joanne, so I know the other day summer hasn't started in Turkey yet, but they've had no rain to speak of. That's what I'm saying. I mean, last year the wildfires in Turkey were rough as well, all across southern Europe and going up into, I mean, France, man. We were going past in Bordeaux last year, man. Jeez, that was terrible. And we were lucky that we were going that way on the motorway. Going the other way, it was just like an REM video, like just stuck with like smoke billowing over. And we were just like, drive, just leave, just point it north, just leave. Shazbot is saying, yeah, Tia, the corporations are still spewing out the shite. We need to make them accountable. We do, and accountability comes from things like this. We build it together. We build institutions together. Big Bob Grady, hello, sir. If you can have a water butter too and save any food you might have planted, that's a really good shout. Do you know what I think we should do? We should collectivize our knowledge and like cover the bases and put together like a little short survival video on what people could do. I think that would be important. Jez is saying the heat in Spain knackered the growing market last year, so look forward to fruit and veg shortages next year. Definitely. And also, I've been getting wise to something at the minute. I'm potentially going to do some kind of like cross-border like thing, ironically funded by the EU. where there's a region in Spain called Huelva, and there's a climate change issue, as you've just described, but also it brings the migrant crisis into it as well, because quite a lot of the people who land are getting jobs on the sly in these growing places in Huelva. Yeah, so that's the vibes. Stephen's saying, later, mate, enjoy your bank holiday. Get well soon, brother. And if you need out, just give us a shout. Aye. So Bob's saying he has the water butts for ponds in the garden. And Joanne's got 3. Get them in, man. Get them in. Enjoy the rest of your bank holiday. If you want to support work, go to patreon.com/Cow Daily. Patreon.com/Cow Daily. PayPal link in the description if you want to support work. Thanks for being here. Really appreciate it. And as I say, I come here because you're here. And let's grow the thing. Let's grow the thing. And I shall see you later. Have an absolutely blessed day. I'm going to do my best to have one myself. Ta-ra.